Hello. Good morning to everyone. On behalf of management of the Ghana Education Service and on behalf of our immediate Director Frederick Breakrine, and on behalf of the Technical Working Group, DL Plus, as well as the DL team at the GS headquarters, I welcome you all to this 2-day training for facilitators to go and train SISOs. Before we start, I would like to invite anyone touched by the Spirit to give us an opening prayer. A short one. All right, so I'm touched. So I'm going to do it myself. Shall we pray? Our dear Lord and Master Jesus Christ, we thank you this morning for how far you've brought us. We thank you for giving us these roles and responsibilities as teachers to handle the little ones that have been entrusted into our care. As we prepare towards this training, it is our belief and hope that you grant us the grace, the strength to go about it successfully, so that at the end, we may have the cause to give you glory, honor, and adoration. This and many things we ask in the name of God the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. I would like to walk us through the training schedule for today. That is day 1. Since we will not be dealing with day 2, I wouldn't like to talk about it. So we will also like to apologize for starting late. It's not our making, sometimes these technical issues go beyond our control. So the first one, we'll have a submission from Mr. Isaac Yeboah. Then Director Fred will come in. We'll have a presentation from UNICEF, another one by NASIA. Then it will be followed by the M&E framework by MOE. Then after that, we'll close. So if Mr. Yeboah is ready, let's welcome him as he takes us through a submission on training details and purpose. Like we all can see, the purpose of this training is to build a capacity of master's trainers with the requisite skills, knowledge, and pedagogies to enable them train CISOs in the selected DL Plus districts for effective monitoring and to ensure fidelity of implementation of the DL Plus intervention program. So we expect a lot from facilitators as we go out there to train the CISOs. If we don't get the concept right from here, it means we are likely to do different things when we meet the CISOs. So let's pay attention. Let's put away all other side issues and concentrate fully so that at the end, we will benefit from whatever we were invited for concerning this training. Mr. Yeboah, if you are ready, you have the platform now. So you can start with your presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Yes, thank you very much, Charles, for the introduction. And also, I will want to welcome all of you to this very important meeting. I think it's been a while since we came together like this. but it has become necessary that we meet once again like this to discuss some issues. Um, this is supposed to be a preparatory meeting towards the main training for SISOs. And as we all know, by law, by policy, SISOs have been mandated when it comes to ensuring that teachers receive support. And then also they are supposed to offer guidance to teachers in their everyday duties. We have this DL intervention running in the various schools. We at the headquarters cannot be everywhere. One of the main things that we need to be considering always is monitoring and ensuring that whatever we have taught the teachers is actually implemented in the classroom. And since we may not be able to be at all the schools at the same time, in all the districts, you will agree with me that we need to be able to decentralize the way we manage things. And that is how we are seeing it. CISOs being the very people, the very officers who are almost always closer to the school. They are linking between the office and then the schools, the teachers. We think it will be appropriate for us to be able to equip them, build their capacity when it comes to differentiated learning, so that they can teach or they can help our teachers at the school level, since we cannot be everywhere. And that is why it is so important that we train them. You have been selected to do the training. We have just a few people who are supposed to go and do the training because of some budgetary constraints. And so this is how we want to approach it. Out of the 250 or so master trainers, we have just selected just a few, about 50 of you, to visit the district to train the CISOs, or to offer them with that capacity that they require to be able to do the work that they are supposed to do. And that is why we will want all of you to pay particular attention or take this very training serious. If we equip them well with the necessary or the needed skills, what it implies is that they will be able to do the work and do it well. But if we are not able to equip them well, then it means you can just guess what I'm going to say. Then it means the work is not going to go on well. And so we need to be to know what we are supposed to talk about when we go down, when we go and train them. It is very important that we pay particular attention to every detail. Please don't let us assume that we know too much. And don't also maybe assume that because of the way you are facilitating at the district level when you go to the grounds, maybe your CISOs have gotten it so well. I will plead with you, use all means to dig in deep. Make sure that at least whatever thing that is supposed to be given to these CISOs for them to get to understand, they get it and they understand it before you leave. I'm saying this for some particular reasons, and by maybe some examples that I can give. Some of our people had the opportunity to train in some districts some time back, and then after some period, another team was formed. Fortunately, the very same people who facilitated in that district were sent back to the district to go and verify And to their surprise, it looked as if they hadn't even trained the people at all, because they were not able to respond to the very questions that were asked. And they were shocked that they knew that they trained these people, because by the responses that they gave during the training, it was like they have understood everything. But going back to verify showed something that was not palatable at all. So um, let's take our time. You are going to be with the CISOs. You are going to have time to interact with them. Take your time and train them. But then before you can do that, it means that you will also have to take the pains to go through all the preparatory lectures or the preparatory trainings that we are going to give to you. So every session that we are going to go through today and maybe the next meeting that we're going to have is very important. It is not only going to be DL as we know it, but we are going to add certain things that also are very important for CISOs to know, so that they'll be able to do their work and do it well. So I will plead with all of you to take the pains to go through this training. If you don't understand anything, nothing bars you from asking. And you can put your comment on the comment section, your questions over there, for your facilitators or the presenters to respond to it. We are going to go to the schools, or to the district, sorry. We are going to go to the district office. That is where we are going to find our CISOs. And we will want you to train our CISOs at the district level. Already funds has been sent to the district. Almost all the districts have received their funds. So that is not a problem at all. As facilitators, when you go there, the district is supposed to give you whatever is due you, like we have been doing. Now, but this time around, you are not going to face so many people. It's only the CISOs. You may have as many as about 10 or even less CISOs in a district. That makes it very easy for you to facilitate, because you'll be able to reach everybody. Let me also remind you that after the training, or even before, yes, I should say before and after the training, we are going to send some kind of evaluation forms to the various districts for the CISOs to respond to it. We are going to also take note of the responses. If your district, the CISOs are not able to respond to the questions very well, it speaks about the way you delivered. That means that they didn't understand. And we don't want a situation like that. Please, let's take our time to take our CISOs through everything. Their work is very, very important for the success of all this that we are doing, because they are the closest, and they are going to be able to do the work of monitoring, supervising our teachers when we are not there. In fact, we, like I said earlier on, at the management level, we are not so many, very few, and we can't be everywhere. Even when we add some of you, it's not going to be possible for us to be able to finance all that. So we need to be able to have people at the district level, equip them with the necessary or the needed skills, so that they will be able to do that work of monitoring and supervising our teachers from time to time. You and I will agree that this is what is going to be able to help us for this very program to become a success. So please, I wouldn't want us to joke with this at all. If we get it right now, then it means that somehow we are going to be able to succeed with this thing that we are implementing. I wouldn't want to bore you so much, but then If there are other details that probably you will need to know, I'll just explain what we're going to do. We're going to send um, each member who is over here to a district. So if we have selected you, take note, you are going to the district alone. You are not going with any other person, but alone. So you are going to face the SISOs. Mind you, these are SISOs. They are not just mere officers, they are SISOs who have always been interacting with the schools, ensuring that the right thing is done. And that is why you have to also equip yourself very well so that if questions are posed to you, you'll be able to also respond to it very well. Otherwise, you may have to, anyway, we won't be there to assist you in any way. It is you and the CISOs. So please equip yourself with all that you need. If there is something that you don't understand, please ask. Don't assume that you know everything. If anything comes up and you don't understand, please, nothing bars you. You can put it on the platform. We will respond to it. On that note, I'm coming to close this very lengthy address, I know, by saying that we are going to leave to the district next week. So departure time may be on Sunday, this coming Sunday. And the work is supposed to be done on Monday and Tuesday. And then, God willing, the following day, we come back to our various schools and districts. That is how we are going to go. So, if there is something that you may not understand or you've not understood very well, you can put it on the platform. We will respond to it. But I'll come in again when we are closing the whole session. So, on that note, I want to thank you for your patience. I know we created a platform long ago and we were trying to put things together. Mind you, we are 250 master trainers. In fact, all of you, everybody is qualified to be part of this. Yes, everybody is qualified. But, you know, we are visiting only 50 districts. We have got some budget that we need to be able to work with. And because of that, we have to approach it from this angle. So if we didn't select anybody who may be on this platform, please, it isn't that we are saying that you are not good. Everybody is good, and we respect you uh, to that level. But you know, we have some budgetary constraints. So we are wishing all of you well. There are other opportunities that will come up, and surely you will be included. On that note, I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eboa, for this wonderful words of encouragement and assurance. And I know with the people we've been working with for some time now, they will live up to expectations. We move on with our program, and I would like to invite one of the most loving directors that we've been working with. In fact, he has distinguished himself as one of the best directors to work with. He is in the person of Mr. Frederick Brequine, Director, Partnerships and Affiliations. Director, your participants are ready, and we would like to hear from you. Thank you.
Good morning, Charles, and good morning to all of you from the Ghana Education Service headquarters. And on behalf of the Director General, I want to congratulate and welcome all of you for availing yourselves for this opportunity. I know Mr. Eboa has given very detailed outline of the expectations. My understanding is that this preparatory meeting is for us to prepare a cadre of people to go to the 50 districts to go and train the CISOs on the DL Plus as well as monitoring and other related issues. Um, we want you to consider this as a very important exercise. You will agree with me that since we changed the name from security supervisors to CISOs, we haven't had any formal training for CISOs before, and the expectation, I'm sure, at the district level um, is quite huge. So let us prepare ourselves as we go. We wish you all the best. We are available to provide any support that you need. Just as Mr. Eba said, if there is anything that bothers you or is beyond what you are capable of doing, just let us know, and we'll be on standby to support you. So we wish you the best of deliberations in the next 2 days. Thank you very much.
We are grateful for these words. We move on, and if Auntie Age is ready, we will take a presentation from UNICEF, and it's to be done by this hard-working woman who is the brain behind all this intervention program, DR Plus, in the person of Miss Agnes Arthur. He is an education specialist working with UNICEF Ghana. Auntie Age, if you are ready, we would like to hear from you. Thank you.
Yes, I'm ready. Can you see me? I can't see myself. So, okay, if you can't see me, it's fine. But I just wanted to, for colleagues to see me, and then I'll just switch back to the norm. So I'm just going back. So, hello,
Auntie
colleagues.
Age, please use your camera.
I can't, it's not working.
Really?
Oh, okay, wait.
Mhm.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can
Okay,
see you now.
so good morning, colleagues. Again, good to have you all on board. My name is Agnes Arthur. I just want you to just see the face, and then I'll switch back to the norm. So, thank you. Okay. So, oh, that was the first present. I changed the slide, but that's okay. I changed. I had a new version that I shared. Hello. Okay, let me go on. Okay, so the purpose for this presentation, you would all wonder why UNICEF is coming in at this time. As Isaac indicated, we have been, as UNICEF, we have been working closely with government. And sorry to also add that I have my colleague Gloria. Gloria is also on board here. From she works from the Tamale sub office. Again, we have been working closely with government and supporting the DL Plus in over 500 schools. And in terms of the plus, you'd wonder why we're talking about the plus, DL plus. The plus means a lot for us and also for government in terms of what is the added value to the DL that is on board. So if we talk about the DL plus, we're looking at some other interventions that have been become part of the deal, the usual deal that is actually already scaled to 10,000 schools. So we are looking at, the I don't know whether you all know about the dashboard now. We have the dashboard. We also have the UDL principles now already. I know it's part of it, but now sort of structured well in there. We also have the MNE framework that you be that will be presented by the ministry. So again, the usual training is actually not is has been the norm. But this time around, as Isaac indicated, we want to just touch it with another component. That is, just give you an insight into why we have to appreciate some of these added values that we have added to the package. So to specify that, I'd also want to present this PowerPoint, this content, to enable you establish some of the evidence around teachers, about CISOs, so that at least when you go there and you're presenting, they are aware of uh, uh, s- stories, or some of the issues that have been established, or facts that have been established by through the evidence that research work that have been done, so that they take some of them seriously, and sort of learn lessons from them and use it as such. So basically, for UNICEF, from UNICEF perspective, that is the reason why we are presenting this. This is more like some studies that were conducted, and we want to present it as part of the DL content, for as a master trainer, to also share with the CISOs when you are in the field, because we believe that it is very critical for CISOs to know some of these. So basically, we looked at a research that was conducted. We call it, I don't know whether you've heard of it, Data Must Speak. So, Data Must Speak is sort of a research that looks at the behaviors of some characteristics, some people. So, uh, it's sort of wants uh, us to appreciate why why people behave differently, or behave positively, we're using the same resources, the same materials, everything better than others. So using that with the same characteristics, the same context, how come in a community, people or CISOs are doing better than others with the same resources, with the same context that they are in? What is their behavior? What is the added value that they know of, or what additional thing that have been revealed to them, that they are doing things differently, more than others? So basically, that's what we are going to study. And then for us, we looked at the school characteristics. So from the school characteristics, that is from the Data Must Speak findings, we realize that we have female-led schools performing marginally better across subjects. I don't know whether the presentation is changed, but you've gone beyond. I mean, I just wanted to present from the start, from the teachers and all that. I don't know whether it is clear. Can you hear me? Okay. So in public schools, uh, the teacher academic and professional qualification matter for students' exams performance. So in terms of the public schools, you realize that there were more teachers who were qualified, and those that were qualified, it had some positive correlation with performance, students' performance at the JHS. This is more, it was actually uh, conducted at the JHS level. And then in terms of the higher proportion of teachers, at least the diploma, those with a diploma had better or were associated. Teachers with diploma were associated with better exams performance. In the public schools, we have 92% of teachers already holding diplomas or higher. We know that our public schools are qualified than the private schools. And in terms of the pupil teacher ratio, it was really negatively associated with exams performance. So you could have like 15 pupils uh, in a class with one teacher. But it wasn't in terms of association, it was insignificant. So basically, I just wanted you to know about some of these things so that at least it will inform some of this is at the high level, but I think it doesn't really matter. We're looking at the characteristics of teachers, and so it doesn't really matter. Just like the lower grades or the primary schools teachers being qualified, it really sort of also apply to them. Could you go to the next one? Next slide, please. Please move to the next slide. I don't want to focus on this now. Okay. So in terms of the school character, no, this is also school characteristics. We looked at the female-led school. So the head teachers, we have head teachers, female head teachers were performed better in school. I mean, had positive association with students. So it's like the head teachers, female head teachers actually performed students with female head teachers performed better in school rather than male female teachers male teachers. And so it is really critical that at this point we also consider, or when we are presenting, we also look at what is it that the female teachers, head teachers are doing? What are some of the leadership skills that they do have, so that we can also sort of influence the CISOs and be able to also alert some of, learn lessons, and then also inform the teachers, or just uh, um, let the teachers know about some of the characteristics that the female teachers hold, and other than the male teachers. In terms of the SMC SMC meetings, we realize that schools with SMCs, or the SMC meeting, did not associate with students' performance. SMC meetings did not associate with school performance. So these are some of the things. And on the average, we have like 3.5, 3 times per year SMC. But in all that, what were they discussing? What were some of the issues that they discussed? What were some of the issues that the teachers were discussing with this? I'm talking about the SMC because the family and community engagement, we have the SMC PTA components structured in there, where teachers would sort of engage communities to let them know about, their students' performance, and also be able to request for some support from parents. So these are some of the things that they should know. In terms of visits and this is very critical. In terms of visits by CISOs in schools, it was stated that the visit by CISOs were negatively associated with the students' performance, meaning that if CISOs were visiting like 3 times a year per year, or 3 times a term per school in every school, I mean, it didn't have any effect in terms of students' performance or students' learning. And I'm believing that it will definitely will apply to the lower grades and primary schools as well. Um, because we have gone for monitoring where CISOs will just go to the schools and then just sign, go to the heads headmaster's office and just sign and go back. So these are some of the school characteristics that we have identified that we believe it is critical for the CISOs to know that this is something evidence. These are facts that we have found from the field through research work that we did on data must speak. Again, we realized that even though CISOs were going there, and even though it had negative association with learners' performance, the head teachers had indicated that about 8%, and this last two, it's also another research from the baseline that was conducted for the DL plus before we started implementation. They had indicated head teachers had indicated that the they really 80%, let me go to the last one, 80% indicated that they have confidence in their CISOs, meaning that they believe their CISO, they believe the confidence that they receive and support that they receive from the CISOs. So their confidence of the support that they receive from the CISOs, and yet in terms of the ability of the CISOs to support them, they had just indicated only 8% indicated that they believe that only CISOs, I would say, do not have the ability to support them. And you wonder why they are saying that. So we need to probe further, or we, as part of our presentation to the CISOs, we should let them know that these are some of the evidence that we are collecting from the grounds, from the field, and from the 50 districts as well. This blue, the last two, 8 and the 50 districts, and so they should basically know exactly what this is all about and learn lessons, so that when they go to the schools they know exactly what to present to the head teachers. They know exactly how to coach and manage and support the teachers in the classroom, because it is critical. As Isaac indicated, this is not the I mean, this is actually beyond. That's why we call it the DL. The plus comes to mind. So the DL plus is really critical, and we want by the end of the year, by the end of the academic year, at least most of the learners would have actually graduated from where they are to the next level, or even beyond or advanced. So as much as practicable, I just wanted to present this as from UNICEF side, so that at least facilitators will know, or master trainers will know exactly what the evidence is on the ground, and be able to present it to the CISOs for discussion. I don't know. I don't think you have enough time per the training content, but then as part of the discussions, you would also have to again let them know about this and learn lessons from this. Um, is that all? I think, please, next slide. Next slide, please. Please, can you move to the next slide? Just move to the last one. It's fine. The last one. We will share this, but let's move to the last one. So this okay. So uh, we have developed an M&E framework. This is more to sustain the program or the intervention, so that government would own the program intervention. We have also developed an M&E framework, which is developed in collaboration with the Ministry and Ghana Education Service. And so this framework looks at some core indicators. And as CISOs, these will be I would say, their milestones, their key performance indicators for tracking uh, school performance, class, and then learners' performance. So I wanted to share this with you. We have about one, two. I'm not going to go through one by one. It's self-explanatory. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have about 10 indicators that CISO should be using, and not necessarily CISO, but all the district directors should be using to track. And because CISO is the frontliner for the schools. I think it is critical that they have a better insight into this and be able to also understand. I would want to stop here and thank you all for listening. As I indicated, this is not the norm, but it's become very compulsory that we UNICEF also come in to also project or add some of these things so that at least CISO, the evidence there, it's known by the CISO and be able to learn from this and do more than expected. So on this note, I would like to thank all of you for listening. If there are questions, I'm available to respond to those questions. So this is mainly a combination of research. Two, we looked at the data must pick positive deviance, and then we also looked at the baseline for differentiated learning before we started implementation. Thank you so much.
It's if there are questions or areas you need clarification, Auntie Agi is available. So you may ask your questions now so that she can address them. You type them in the chat box and it will be addressed. Thank you.
Hi, Gloria, would you want to add on?
Hello. Gloria, just unmute your mic.
Okay, so good morning, everyone.
Good
Just,
morning.
Agnes has said it all. I don't have anything to add on. Thank you and over.
Okay, you are welcome. Okay, so at this time, we move on to a presentation by NASIA, National School Inspectorate Authority, and it will be done by my own Gloria Ajubi Ahin. So, Gloria, if you are ready, we would like to hear from you.
Hi, I'm here. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Just like my name has been mentioned already, um, do I necessarily have to turn off my camera? Like
Let's
turn
see.
it on? Okay. So, yes. So let's go through the. We are looking at the observation tool that will be used for assessment or validation of the program. Once again, my name is Gloria Ajibiahin. I go through the order of presentation. We look at the overview has already been done by my good brother Isaac, and then Miss Agnes also did a bit of it. So I just go straight to the NASIA mandate. So if we can go straight to the NASIA mandate. NASIA's mandate on the DL program. Can we Okay, so the mandate of the authority in this program is to validate the accuracy of the results displayed as true reflection of what is happening in the various learning centers. For this course, we have developed an observation tool that will be used for the assessment of the program. I think we can move on to the next slide. Yes, so we rate our. Can we go back to please? Can we go back to the rating scale? Yes. So we rate our inspection on a 4-point scale. And as you can see being projected, the meanings that goes with these program. The number one talks about the please let me quit. Please, I'm coming. 1 second.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Whilst we wait for Gloria from Nasia, Auntie Agi will be addressing the questions that you are asking. Okay, so Auntie Agi, we are ready for you. So if you are ready, you can start
Okay,
responding to the
the
questions that
questions.
have been asked. Yes.
Okay, so what is the question now? What it
Y-
was the year,
Yeah,
right?
in which year was the research conducted?
Okay, so we started data must peak. Uh, and we started in 2022 and finished 2023. So the findings, everything we completed in 2023, basically.
Okay.
Yes, so that is the quantitative. The qualitative aspect, we are again doing that. It will also be completed. So, for instance, we want to add the qualitative part to establish why female head teachers leadership is associated with the students' performance. So these are some of the things that we want to also better understand why that. So we are done with the quantitative part. We are done. You remember I told you we have two research combined, two researches. So the other one is also the baseline. The baseline was just finished. Uh, is it September? We concluded, I think, in September, November, between September and November, we had actually done the other baseline study for the DL plus, and that is where we realized that head teachers, even though the 80% of them indicated that yes, CISOs provided the required support, and yet they didn't really think 8%. I mean, they didn't really think that they have the ability to support them. Only 8%, meaning that only 8% indicated that they have the ability to support them, meaning that about 92% did not believe that the CISOs have the ability to support them, even though they come to the schools and do all sort of things. But in terms of ability to let them, support them with, making sure that at least learners acquire the skills, only 8% indicated that.
All right. Okay, thank you. And I think whoever asked the question is clear now. So we still hold on while we wait for Gloria. So if there are more questions, you can text them and it will be addressed accordingly.
Isaac, is it possible to go to the next and maybe Gloria will come after if the next presenter is available?
That's what we are trying to do
Okay.
now.
Mm.
Hello. I think we will have to move on to M&E framework. If Ima is ready, so that when Gloria is ready, we can take her when Ima is done. So Ima, if you are ready, let's hear from you. Ima is from the Ministry of Education. Ima, Ima, please unmute and let's hear you. Hello, Gloria.
at the part where I was showing.
Hello, colleagues. I think Gloria is back now. So we will take her presentation. She will continue with where she started from.
So yes, I was explaining the 4 point scale, the ratings and what it means. So the rating of 4 is outstanding, 3 means good, 2 is satisfactory, and then 1 is unsatisfactory. And the various interpretations to them are on the, is it the right corner? Yeah. And so when we say a school that is has rated on a scale of 4, its interpretation means that they are doing exceptionally high, it's an exceptionally high quality level of performance.
Hello, Gloria.
Yes.
Could you please speak up a bit so that we can hear
Is it
you?
okay now? Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Kindly try and speak up a bit. Okay.
Okay. I'm using a headset, so I don't know whether it's coming from the headset or.
Maybe that's what is giving us the negative feedback.
Okay. But is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. So I was explaining the scale. So I think the scale has its interpretation there. So we can move on to the next slide. The overview has already been done. So we can go to, I've explained the mandate before my laptop went off. And then yes, so we go to the observation tool. The tool is in many sections. We have the material distribution, the teacher training or refresher programs done for DL teachers. We have the DL assessment itself. We have the DL implementation, and then we have the learning outcomes, the digital refresher training, and the help desk. So I'll take the material distribution. The questions that we expect you, or we expect um, master trainers to train um, DL teachers, that when a SISO comes or a NASIA inspector comes in, these are the questions they are going to ask, and upon it is how they will do the rating. So the first one they will ask, we will write the name of the school at the top there, and then we come to the material distribution, the learning question, which is the number one, talks about, do schools have enough materials? And then we have 3 indicators under them with the ratings on the right. So the first indicator is what percentage of schools, the percentage of schools with fully adequate material per learner. So if you're supposed to have a school is supposed to have, or a ideal teacher is supposed to have 10 materials, the inspector or the SISO would have to give us a percentage of the schools that have full, the 100% material that's for learning. And then you know how to do the calculation. If the school doesn't have, let's say you're supposed to have like 5 materials, and then you go, they have only 1. So you take it 1 by 5 times 100, and that should give us 20% of materials available. So the next one is the percentage of schools with over 70% adequate material per learner. And I did the calculation, so you can do the calculation to put the score in there. And then we go to the percentage of schools with no materials at all. We don't anticipate to find such, but then should we, it will be reported on. Am I speaking fast, or my motion is okay?
You go ahead, but if you slow
Okay,
down, it will help.
okay. Then we go
Mhm.
to B, the teacher training or the refresher course done for DL teachers. So the learning question is, are all DL teachers trained on DL? That's the first question. Did they attend all of the training? And then the third one is, the teachers understand key concepts from the training. So the indicators for us for our measurement will be percentage of teachers that have received DL training, average training days received. The average training days, I think we know how to calculate the training days, how to find the average of the training days. and then average overall score on the pre and the post test. I think all these things you understand because you know the pre test and the post test before the remediation and then after the remediation. And then we go to the DL assessment itself. We have learning questions and we have indicators under them that's supposed to guide the inspector as to how to rate the program. So the first question is, was the assessment done well? Was the assessment done by a teacher who received DL training? And then the indicators under them. The indicators under them, percentage of schools where three-quarter randomly selected teachers. So we look at the two LP and then the two up. We group learners. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, can I go on?
Yes, you can go on.
Okay, the line was very quiet, so I thought, okay.
Oh, okay.
And we look at the percentage of schools where all the randomly selected teachers, the lower primary and the upper primary, are officially trained on DL and assessment protocol. I think since the implementation of the program, there have been several trainings, so we'll look at that as well. And then we go to the DL implementation itself. And we have learning questions under them and the ratings beneath them. The ratings goes with the indicators that have been apportioned to the questions. So our teachers attending a DL class, our teachers delivering lessons according to a DL concepts, including the UDL principles. The UDL principles is the Universal Design for Learning, which has three principles under them. The first principle is to provide multiple means of representation. The second principle is to provide multiple means of action and expression. That is the various ways that learners express what they know. And the third principle under the UDL is for a teacher to provide multiple means of engagement. And that goes with our DL implementation, how we go on with our DL. So that I just explained the UDL principles in case somebody do not know what the UDL principles are. And the next question beneath this is are teachers delivering all DL lessons in expected sequence and in their whole duration? Do teachers find implementation useful for their learners? Are learners presented in DL classes? Are learners present in DL classes? And then the last one is, are DL classes being monitored by head teachers? So we rate these questions with the indicators assigned to them. We look at the percentage of teachers implementing the best DL practices in the classroom, percentage of teachers that demonstrate all DL concepts and teaching approaches during DL lessons, percentage of teachers delivering DL lessons content in full, the progress of math DL lessons, that is percentage completion of 1 week, week 1 to week 8, and the average weeks completed for lower and upper primary. We look at the progress of English DL lessons. We also look at the percentage of teachers who view DL as useful tool in the classrooms. We look at the percentage of learners present in DL classes, that is based on their segmented classes, that is the gender and the disability and all those other groups. We look at the percentage of schools with more than 50% of their DL lessons monitored by head teachers. I think we can move on to the next slide where I look at the learning outcomes. Okay. So under learning outcomes, we just have one question there. Are learners improving their learning? Because that's the essence of DL. We need to see improvement. Are learners learning? So we look at the indicators, percentage of schools that report. Schools that report.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Gloria. Gloria.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, sorry to cut you, but I think participants need clarification on the percentage and the ratings. So there's a question on the platform.
Okay.
See, you should
How do
come
I?
again on the rating. You see, we are talking about number of percentage of teachers implementing best DL practices in the classroom. But when we come to the rating, the rating is not in percentage. It's in numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. Could you please come clear on that?
Okay. Okay. So can I finish with it, and then I talk about the ratings again?
All right.
Okay. If that's okay with the person.
Okay,
Is
so
that
you go
okay?
ahead. So when you finish, in case you even forget, we will draw your attention to it.
Okay. Yes, I won't. All right. Thank you very much. So yeah. So we look at the under the learning outcomes. We look at the indicator. Two indicators under it. Percentage of schools that report improved learning-based student performance. The percentage of schools. If you look at it, it is percentage of schools, percentage of teachers. So it's not like we are going to individual classrooms to look at that. But then my understanding is we can go to a school where we have about three or four, um, let's say four DL teachers in a school. Then we can use that for that kind of assessment. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but then if you don't, you can put a question. Then when I'm done, I'll explain um, that one. So under the learning outcomes, I go again. We'll go to the school. We look at we can take the district for that one. We look at the percentage of schools that report improved based learning based student performance tracking, because we expect that teachers keep track of the learning improvement of students of learners. Sorry, and then the head teachers also do that, and then the district itself would have to have a track of improvements in the learning outcomes of students undertaking sorry learners undertaking um, who are in the DL program. And then I come to the digital refresher training. This has been going on for some time now, where teachers join the digital platform to be trained. So we look at are teachers participating in the DL online training? What is the percentage of teachers that participated in the online training? The percentage of SISOs, head teachers, and teachers who assess and use the DL help desk platforms, which I think are available at the district levels. And then the type of help desk package that is mostly assessed and used. And this particular part we can get from the district or the lead in the district. And then we come to the G, the help desk. What at all is a help desk? So our CISOs, head teachers, and teachers assessing the DL help desk. Which of the help desk package is mostly useful for DL teachers? And then we look at the percentage of CISOs, head teachers, and teachers who assess and use the DL help desk platforms. And then we look at the type of the help desk package that is mostly assessed by the CISOs, the head teachers, and the teachers, the DL teachers. So I go back to the ratings again. If you look at the ratings, some of them relate to the individual teachers in the classroom. Some relate to the school as a whole. Some relate to the district. So when an officer comes in there, um, he wouldn't just enter a class and take all these things, because some of the questions may not pertain to what is happening in a classroom, but what is happening in the school and what is happening in the district. So that is why the percentages are there. So if there are four teachers in a school, and then we find out, do schools have enough materials? Then we look at the number of schools in the district and what percentage of them have all the adequate materials for DL per learner. So if the person who was asking for the ratings, so if there are four teachers, then if there are four schools, then two of the schools have adequate materials. Then we rate the percentage as okay. So yeah, you were asking that if we like 2/4 times 100, that should give us about 50%. Where do you put the 50%? The 50%, judging from the rating score. I think I was supposed to have attached another document where the percentage scores were there. But usually we, like I explained, the ratings, the 4 is an exceptional, and we are looking at 90 to 100. And then the 3 is between 70 to 80. The 4 is between 60 to 80 and to 70. And then anything below, for our ratings, anything below 50% is not satisfactory. But anything above, between 55 and 70, is satisfactory for us. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I'm trying to look for the ratings again, which I think I will share on the general platform with the percentages on it for you to do the assessments. You look at it. I think I overlooked that. I was supposed to have attached that to it. That will help you with the rating after you have done the percentages. I don't know if that answers the question, Mr.
Gloria, so are you going to share the percentage concerning the rating with participants?
I could share with you and you could share with them. So
All right. So we'll be
on the general
grateful if that
platform,
can be done.
yes, I will
All
do
right.
that.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any other question regarding the percentages apart from the percentages?
I think you can go ahead. As and when they have questions, they will send them through the chat.
I think I'm done with the help. Yeah, I'm done with it. I'm done with the 7.
You are done with the
I've done. I've
presentation.
spoken about, yes. I've spoken about digital refresher training. That one is done at the district level, and then the help desk assessment also done at district level, which the inspector would ask these questions at the district to facilitate the rating at the district level. Because mind you, we are not just assessing the implementation in the classroom in a school. We are doing it in the selected districts and regions in the country. So yes, I think basically I'm done with it. Yes,
Um,
unless there's a question for me.
yes, I want to ask a question on the help desk.
Yes.
Yeah, so how, if in case we want to access it, how can that be done?
I think I should be asking you because it is assumed that our CISOs have been trained. There is coordinators for these um, for the DL implementation in the district. So when
Mhm.
a teacher or a head teacher is facing a problem, how accessible are they able to access these help? That is the essence of
Yes,
the help desk. That there
I
is a
asked this.
coordinator.
Okay, I asked this question because of the first question. You say, I see so say teachers and teachers accessing the help desk, the DL plus help desk.
Yes.
Hmm.
So as part of the technical working group, I know that there is a lead at the district level who supposed to provide the oversight responsibility of the DL implementation in the district under which
Okay,
they work, right?
right,
So
all right,
when DL teachers come to you, what are some of the things they are assessing?
okay.
Yes. That is to find out how effective they are. I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay. All right. So somebody was asking a similar question. What are the help desks for DL? I think that's what you've
So the
explained.
help desk is not just a common desk where somebody sits on, but
Okay.
it's just a term where somebody, a lead in the district, provide help to DL teachers and CISOs. Because we assume that after here, you have been master trainers, right? I don't know whether you are going to be the lead in the various districts you find yourself or the region you find yourself. You have access to information that the classroom, the DL teacher may not have access to. and the
Okay.
person should be able to access you for any help at any point in time regarding the DL implementation. So when we come, we have to find out from you what are some of the questions they come to us, what are some of the things they are finding challenges with, and what are some of the ways you've been able to help them. That is what we ask for. So the help desk is not just a table and a chair, but um,
Okay.
a system where help is given to teachers.
Okay. There is another question for you. Is the
Is the
percentage
percentage
supposed to be written against the numbers, or there is another form for it? And the one you presented is just a guide. Somebody is asking.
yes, like I rightly said, I was supposed to have attached a percent. The percentage is like when you are doing the continuous assessment and a child gets 80%, then you go and check what that means. Is it, I don't know if you understand. So it's for the grading, for the rating. So I'll attach it to you. You will have it today. Once I get off the presentation, I'll send it to Charles or Isaac for you to have access to it as part of the material that I'll be giving to you.
All right. Okay. Are there more questions or areas that need clarification before she exits?
Send a soft copy. Please, are there any questions or clarification? Does
Yeah,
it mean
somebody
every
is
district
asking,
should
does
have
it
a
mean,
focal? Every
does
district
it
should have a
mean,
focal.
hello,
Yes, I'm
hello?
listening.
Yes, somebody is asking that does it mean every district should have a focal DL person to mount this help desk?
Then again, I explained that the help desk is not just a physical desk, it is a focal person who is supposed to be available and easily accessible by DL teachers. I don't know
All
if
right.
that answers the question. Yes.
Yes. To add to what you said, there is going to be, I think by now, all the districts have even selected
Focal.
DL plus focal persons. So, per your explanation, it means that the DL focal persons, as well as the SISOs who are to be trained, when teachers need support, they can access them for the support that they need. So, those people qualify to be the help desk that you are talking about, right?
Yes. I think somebody is asking of the UDL.
Yes.
The UDL is just an education framework and a set of principles that maximizes learning opportunities for all learners. It's just like the differentiated learning. That's how we say that it operates on three principles. And the principles I already gave. The first principle is for the teacher to provide multiple means of representation. And that goes with what we already know as DL teachers, where we make the lessons are supposed to be in such a way that every child is not left behind. So that's multiple means of representation in your lesson delivery. And the second principle talks about the multiple means of action and expression, where children are not just shut down because um, you are wrong, but then we allow children, why did I say children, learners um, to assess the various ways they express themselves when questions are posed to them or when learning is taking place. And the third principle lies on the teacher's ability to provide multiple means of engagement. Some like to um, the audio, some are visual, some do with both. So, and these are all the conditions or principles underlying DL implementation itself. So basically, when we say the UDL, the UDL is virtually, um, he said, think help desk is established through the WhatsApp. Okay, okay. Yeah, I think Miss Agnes has explained the help desk on the platform.
There is a platform where, in case teachers, heads need assistance, I think they bring their
Yeah, so I think
concerns.
she's explaining the help desk that
Yes.
it's the WhatsApp group that information can be put on for feedback. Yes.
Okay.
So I think the UDL is not different from differentiated learning. I think it's embedded in the differentiated learning. So
Yes.
basically,
So to maybe add to what you just said, with the UDL principle, participants, let's say you have a child in your classroom who has only one arm. So you want them to clap. In the course of your lesson delivery, you expect learners to clap. There is this learner with one arm. What other thing can you do differently so that he also feels part of the learning process? That's all that we are talking about. So multiple means of representation. So you can maybe ask the learner to tap the other hand on the table as a means of clapping. So this is what we are referring to as the UDL principle, the multiple means of representation. So this is just an example that I've cited for you. All right.
okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do we have more questions? So participants, let's keep typing. If you have them, then we will address them accordingly. So we'll move on. So Ima, if Ima from MOE, Ministry of Education, is ready. So Ima, unmute yourself and let's hear from you.
I'm unmuted. I don't know if the
Yeah,
audience can hear me. I'm
yeah,
actually unmuted.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Hello. Hello, everyone. I
Hi.
learned my presentation will be shared from your end, so I'm just on standby for it to pop up, and then we'll quickly
All right.
go.
Okay.
But so I'm Emmanuel Asare from MOE PBME, and I'll be taking the monitoring and evaluation session, or the MNE session. Just as we all know, MNE is relevant to project implementation, since we are going to highlight key bottlenecks and how best we can actually come up with remedial measures to curb them and help us achieve the desired objectives or project development objectives as outlined. DL is actually coming from lessons learned impact evaluations that have been done. That's where we are having the DL plus coming from. So based on MNE systems that were put in place from previous projects, we've learned lessons and we are scaling it up for implementation. So yes, the objective of the monitoring and evaluation of DL projects is just to track the performance of the various activities on regular and ongoing basis, just as for us to know whether we are making progress or not, or what we actually envisage to undertake or carry out, we actually doing that. And the regular monitoring will also help us collect relevant data, just not any data, but relevant data to help us report on the indicators and track the delivery of key activities. We can never sit down and say people are making progress without data. It's the data that must actually let us know whether people are actually undertaking whatever that they are doing. Monitoring is intended to enable DL implementing agencies and implementers to undertake the necessary analysis and also evaluate their progress against critical targets. So when you take the monitoring aspect, it will help us know whether we are actually making progress towards our desired objectives or not. And then under DL Plus, we envisage that monitoring will be done across all levels, from the national, district, circuit to the school level. So the head teacher will even have a role to play. At the circuit level, the SISO has a role to play. At the district officers or the DL coordinators have something to do. And then the national, we have the technical working group, who is also going to be in charge of the monitoring and evaluation. Please, the next slide. So yes, in M&E systems, when it comes to projects, you are supposed to design results framework. So what do you want to achieve? yes, you might have a broad objective, but as to your objective, what is the envisage or what particular targets do you want to end of the project implementation, end line, what do you envisage to achieve? Yes. So under a deal, we designed an M&E framework or a results framework, which has all the indicators that is used to measure the both the project development outcome, the intermediate outcomes, and also the outputs that we actually want to achieve under DL. So it starts from the outcome level to the intermediate outcome level to the outputs level. And it also facilitates analytical thinking and help leadership of DL gain clarity about how key activities and outputs that contribute to the achievement of desired outcome could be defined and measured. So we have the results framework has various responsibilities assigned to it. It has annualized targets and end line targets too as well. And then we set performance indicators, which actually gives us the overview or help us track the progress towards achievement of the desired outcomes of the DL plus intervention. So yes, there is a hypothesis that was actually developed for DL results. So we believed in the theory of change. So the success at the outcome level could be demonstrated by causal actions when implemented, and this will actually contribute strongly to the achievement of the various outcomes. The definitions of the output and intermediate objectives and their indicators is important to align implementation with activities required to in order to achieve the goal of improving literacy and numeracy skills and to measure results. So yes, the main aim is for us to be able to measure results, because if you're unable to measure results, you will not be able to know whether you are making progress or not, or whether you are going to achieve your clearly defined objectives or not. Please, the next slide. Theory of change, right? Okay, so yes, for us to be able to develop the results framework, we actually conceptualize the whole theory of change, how there is a linkage between the various activities helping us achieve the broad the intermediate outcomes and also going to achieve the overall outcome. So yes, when you take DL plus, what we actually envisage is if teachers are trained in DL, if assessments are conducted regularly, and then the assessment data is actually used for decision making, we believe it's going to improve teacher skills in differentiated learning. And if SISO's head teachers, district directors are equipped with skills in DL, and DL coaching and mentoring support to schools increased, we actually envisage that it will enhance supervision support to school. We also have a thinking or a theory that if teachers have access to DL manuals and also have access to TLMs for DL, then TLM accessibility in schools will be very high or it will be improved. Now, we believe as part of DL Plus, there is some section of community engagement. We also believe if there are regular community engagement and there are regular SMC meetings and there is increased community, this is actually going to increase community support for literacy and numeracy skills acquisition. So now, yes, if we achieve all these intermediate outcomes, which is improved teacher skills and in differentiated learning, we enhance supervision support to schools, TLMs are accessible in schools, and there is increased community support for literacy and numeracy skills acquisition. Then we envisage to ensure that learning outcomes in mathematics, English among P2 to P6 pupils, including those with disabilities and girls, would improve, which is basically improving learning outcomes. That's literacy and numeracy. Please, the next slide. Now, yes, when you take the M&E rules, we try as much as possible to ensure that this system is incorporated into the already existing structure of the school system. So yes, community SMCs will utilize data for SMC meetings and further discussions. That's one thing we want to do. We also want heads of target schools or teachers required to collect and document implementation activities. So you just don't do the activities, but you actually document them. For instance, if you conduct assessments, we believe that assessment data should be captured at the school level. And this, when aggregated at the district, regional, and national level, can be used for effective decisions. Just as we all know, CISOs will actually monitor the implementation within the circuits, collect data from schools, and aggregate at the circuit level for submission to the district level. Now, district education directorates will also be strengthened to conduct random verification of the data from the. So it's not just about the CISO collecting the data, but we want to see the district directorate also verifying this data and follow up with implementation activities. Subsequently, you aggregate all these performance data and then submit it to the national level for reporting or for updating the project results framework. Level, we also undertake the data verification as usual, the monitoring, aggregate the data and update the project results framework. These results framework will be shared across board. Yeah, please, the next slide. So yes, if you take DL, the theory of change I explained initially was just looking at the the initial outcome or the impact we wanted to see is improved learning outcomes. And then with this, when you ask me, or basically when you ask everybody, the learning assessment data that is available for us to be able to tell that we've actually improved learning outcomes is proficiency in terms of literacy and numeracy at the various levels. And to be able to assess this, we actually came up with the goal, which is learning outcomes in mathematics and English among P2 to P6 pupils, including those with disabilities and girls, has actually improved. So now we are interested in. Oh, please let's go to the PDO, the previous slide. Yeah. So yes, we are interested in these, but then there is quite a huge. So when you take the proficiency rates in numeracy P2 and then P4 and P6, we will be using the NST data or the assessment data that you capture at the various school levels to report on these particular indicators. And then there is an indicator on learner progression rate, which is very critical. So the assessment data that is being captured at the school level will help us know. So the initial assessment will segregate the various students into their various levels, so level 1, 2, and 3. But the subsequent assessments will help us know if a learner, either at level 1 or 2, has actually progressed to a higher level, or either some learners are actually declining. Yes, we are not interested in those learners who are not making progress, but we are actually interested in those who are making progress. The way the indicator is actually, you would be able to compute learners who are not making progress subsequently. Yeah, you'll be able to assess that. And we're also looking at the number of pupils directly benefiting from the intervention, which is key. We are also, when you take a PDO, we are always interested in the total number of beneficiaries. That's the number of students who are actually benefiting. But one interesting thing is this particular data set are supposed to be segregated by gender. And in terms, we are also interested in students with disability as well. Please, the next slide. So we are moving on to the intermediate indicators. Here we are trying to assess, so intermediate result 1 or intermediate indicator 1, teacher skills in DL enhanced. And this one, we are actually interested in the percentage of teachers trained in DL. And then one interesting thing for the CISOs is we are also interested in the percentage of teachers who are actually using DL in instructional delivery. So the pedagogy at the classrooms, the CISO. So usually I've been having this issue. What we always want to see is measure schooling. So just looking at the attendance, students attending school or students are in school, teachers are in school. But now the thinking is moving beyond that. We're actually interested in measuring learning. And one of the best ways to measure learning, teaching and learning is through instructional delivery. Now, CISOs go in to observe lessons, and then we will actually know that the teachers are actually using the DL pedagogy in lesson delivery in the classroom. We are also interested in the percentage of targeted schools participating in DL assessments. So yes, for the baseline assessments and then the endline assessments, we are interested in the number of schools that are actually participating in this particular indicator. We don't know, but we know maybe 1 or 2 is there might be some schools who might be able to participate in the baseline assessment, but the endline assessment might be difficult. And we are also interested in this particular indicator. And all these three indicators will help us measure whether teachers' skills have actually enhanced in the DL lessons. Please, can we make progress? Oh, next slide. Okay. Yes, interestingly, we are also interested in DL teaching and learning materials that have been distributed. This indicator is straightforward. We are just interested in the percentage of schools supplied with DL TLMs. But yes, when you ask me, is it all the TLMs or we are benchmarking? So yes, with this particular indicator, we are benchmarking. So you can see that I have implementation guide with its numbers, lower and upper primary literacy and numeracy books to number. Now we envisage that each school should have these TLMs, and if the school has these TLMs, then we can now peg it and say, okay, this school has received. If the school has only received some few components of these TLMs, that school is not supposed to be counted as to having the full component of the TLMs. There are other TLMs, but this is the benchmark that we have. So if the school has the implementation guide, the lower and upper primary literacy and numeracy books, and then they have the numeracy books, two more, and then each student have a supplementary reader to support their reading, then that school will be counted as a school actually receiving the DLTLMs. But if the school is not having these components or this TLMs, that school wouldn't be counted. In an area whereby the school has more than these components under the DL package, then that school is still going to be counted. But in benchmarking, these are the requisites or the required TLMs that each school should have before that school is counted as actually receiving DL TLMs. There is also an indicator on the pupil TLM ratio. Now, this is very dicey, but we'll be interested in numbers. So, yes, the system itself will capture the total enrollment of the school from P2 to P6, and then the TLMs that will be distributed or released to the various schools by looking at those that are meant for the students. We will now compute this particular indicator to get the pupil TLM ratio as to the total enrollment against the total number of supplementary readers and primers that have actually been given to the students. Please, next slide. So yes, supervision support to schools enhanced. This is purely one of the main responsibility of one of the key responsibilities of SISOs. Now, when you look at this, we are interested in the number of district officials equipped with leadership skills, including DL plus. But then when you come to the second indicator, which is actually looking at the percentage of schools supported with DL coaching and mentoring, honestly, when I tried reading the concept of DL coaching and mentoring in a whole, it became a very daunting task. And this task has always been assigned to SISOs. Generally, that coaching and mentoring is the responsibilities of SISOs. Now, we are interested in schools that have been supported with this coaching and mentoring. And under DL, yes, I've pegged it, benchmarked it, that if a CISO visits a school at least 3 times a term, then that school, that DL plus school should be counted as a school benefiting from coaching and mentoring. But then, because we want to measure learning, not just measuring schooling, the CISO don't just visit the school and finish the form, but then you are supposed to complete the digitized lesson observation tool and submit it onto the DL Plus dashboard. There is a particular question in there. So we are interested in some 3 key questions that have been benchmarked into the lesson observation form. When those aspects of it are completed or computed and submitted onto the dashboard itself analyzes it and then we'll be able to confirm. So based on the recommendation, the issues you identified and the recommendation, the linkage between these two things will actually let us know whether that school is actually benefiting from the coaching and mentoring support. Yes, I know some CISOs would argue that the head teachers also support. Yes, we believe the head teachers are part or participants of coaching and mentoring, but under DL for measurability sake, or for us to be able to measure coaching and mentoring under DL, we've pegged it that each CISO should at least visit a DL plus school 3 times and then complete the digitized lesson observation form. Now, when you submit it, the key questions in there would actually on the dashboard will compute all these things for us to know the percentage of schools that have actually benefited. So if you visit a school twice, that school wouldn't be counted but if you visit a school more than 3 times, 3 or more times, that school will be counted, and it will help us know the schools that have benefited from coaching and mentoring within a specific year based on the completion of the lesson observation form. Please, can we move to the next one? Next slide. Yeah, so there is community support for foundational literacy and numeracy skills acquisition. That's seen earlier on in the theory of change, or the TOC. Now, under this particular results or intermediate results we want to achieve, we are looking at two indicators that can help us measure this, which is percentage of SMCs meetings on foundational literacy and numeracy. Yeah, we want to see the SMC meetings happening. We are interested in the percentage of schools that have their SMC meetings on foundational literacy and numeracy being held. This is going to be verified based on the minutes that will be available, and then there will be randomized verification exercise to help us actually measure or verify and authenticate this particular indicator. We're also interested in the number of family or community engagements SPAMs organized. This indicator too is very key, and we believe the SISO is actually going to be actively involved in some of these community engagements. It's not just the engagement, but there should be discussions around literacy and numeracy and how best the community can help us improve literacy and numeracy skills. That is basically what the essence of this indicator is. So for us to know there is community engagement, we want to know the number of community engagement that has actually taken place for the intermediate results. I think the next slide talks about the key indicators that we actually focus on for the SISO. So yes, when you take, as I mentioned initially, when you take the learner progression rate, there's a responsibility there for the SISO. So the SISO verifies learner progression data and aggregates the data at the circuit level and submits it to the district officers to aggregate at the district level. So this one, SISOs must have back end to the DL plus dashboard. You actually see that, okay, the learner progression data that has been populated onto the dashboard, is that what is actually on the ground based on your verification? So it's the responsibility of the SISO. Since we don't want it to look like people must come from the top to come and verify, or from the national level to be verifying these indicators. What they can only do is to come in and then select sample few schools and then verify whether these indicators are making progress or not. Now, the next indicator that should be of interest to the CISO is also percentage of teachers using DL plus in instructional delivery. Purely or technically, if you ask me, it's the responsibility of the CISO to be able to tell that, okay, when I visited this school during the DL class session, the teacher was actually using DL pedagogies in lesson delivery or not, or he just lump sum, he's still using the usual grade system that we have. So grade 1 to grade 6, they didn't segregate the students into their various levels. There's the responsibility of the CISO to be able to tell whether the teachers are actually using the DL instructional delivery. And then, yes, this and the CISO will report on this indicator by completing the digitized lesson observation tool whilst in the school or in the classroom, actually observing the lesson. So yes, the digitized tool picks the geo coordinate of the school within which or where you're actually submitting the data from, and it gives the DL plus platform creates room for offline data submission, or online, both online and offline data submission. So yes, the geocodes will actually help us know whether you're actually submitting the data from the school level, or you actually sat in your bedroom and then completed the lesson observation form and shared. Yeah, the CISO should also be interested in the percentage of beneficiary schools that have been supplied with DLTLMs. It's clearly the responsibility of the CISOs to ensure that the head teacher reports on this indicator during classroom observation. So there is a question in there that will actually help us know whether the school has actually received the DL TLMs. percentage of schools supported with DL plus coaching and mentoring. I think initially I highlighted broadly about this particular coaching and mentoring being the responsibility of the SISO and the head teacher. Yes, the head teacher might have done it, but the lesson observation form itself should be completed by the SISO and then submitted onto the dashboard. And then you can realize that, however, under this indicator, it is expected that the SISO visits each beneficiary school at least 3 times a term and complete and submit the digitized lesson observation to onto the DL Plus platform. Subsequently, we are interested in the number of SMC meetings on foundational literacy and numeracy. So we see it as the responsibility of the CISO to organize the SMC meeting for the targeted schools within the circuit, just as we've been doing. We think it should be done under Gallup. And then the CISO will also maintain minutes of the meetings with demonstrated evidence established above. So yes, these are the key things. These are the main 5 indicators that should be relevant or of key interest to the CISOs as we have here. Please, the next slide. I think the next slide is just talking about the evaluations, how the evaluations will be done. So the impact evaluation, we actually envisage to use randomized control trials to conduct evaluation, and the impact of the intervention will be measured using the impact evaluation approach at the end of the project. We would want to know whether the impacts whether the learning outcomes we envisage to see has actually improved. At this point, I would like to say thank you, and if there are any questions, I'm available.
Thank you very much, Iman, for your wonderful presentation. I think, I don't know if you can see the questions being asked from your end. Hello, Iman.
So look at that now. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, can you see the questions?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can. I have seen. Okay, I've seen one question here currently, which is saying from Abu Kasim. Look at the TLM again, because what I know is that only literacy has the readers for pupils and not mass. Can you come again? So yes, the supplementary readers will be provided, and as I mentioned earlier, we'll have the numeracy documents too as well. So that's why I said there are going to be a lot of TLMs, but then we are benchmarking it. So Abu Kasim, if you are listening to me, we are just benchmarking how best we can measure, or how best we can say, okay, this school has actually benefited from the TLMs. There are lots of TLMs that will be procured and then distributed, but then we are looking at the basic requirement as to what we would say is school, and it's not just based on the initial distribution that has been done as it stands now. This is for the project life cycle, so we'll be measuring. So when you take the results framework, we have annualized targets. So for instance, here, one of the project implementation has a target that at least we want 40%. So this will be rolled out in phases, and it's, TLMs is based on resource allocation or the release of funds to the various schools. So we are not saying all schools should actually have the full complement of the TLMs, but it's supposed to be done in phases. But for me to measure and say, okay, school A actually has TLMs, TLMs in their school, we are looking at this benchmark. So yes, the target is there as 40%, but if I go in and the school is having only the readers, then I would benchmark it, because that is only targeting literacy. So when you look at it, there is also the numeracy part, and then the supplementary readers are also part of the TLMs that we want to have for the students. So you can see that Agnes has also mentioned or responded that there will be other simplified versions of materials as well, in addition to learners' readers. So there are more TLMs that will be procured and then distributed. But for us, what we actually have in the PowerPoint or the indicator sheet or the M&E manual is what we are actually focusing on. We don't, if there will be more, that means we will not be interested. What we'll be interested in is the benchmark for us to be able to measure. I think Lydia also has a question. Does it mean that every time the CISO visit the school, they should complete their online forms and submit immediately? So, yes, the relevance of this is for us to know whether you actually visited the school. Because if for me, for us to be able to verify that you were actually in the school, you actually observed the lessons. So you see, it's not just about the lesson observation. We are interested in the key recommendation, and as you are making the recommendations, you actually know that okay, whether the recommendations are aligning with the gaps you identified during your lesson observation. So yes, the CISO, unless maybe for that your visit was not necessarily for coaching and mentoring, maybe there was an emergency. But if you are going there for DL coaching and mentoring and you're observing DL lessons, what you are supposed to do is actually you have to complete that lesson observation form or the digitized tool and share it on the platform, Lydia. I don't know if there are more questions or other things that need clarification.
Yes, I think when they have issues or areas where they need clarification, the door is still open for them to bring in their questions for clarification.
Okay, well
While
noted.
we continue, are you done with your presentation?
Yes, now I'm done with my presentation.
All right, so thank you very much, Ima, for
Welcome.
your time. Yes, we were expecting to have 50 participants, but we have 38 out of the 50. Please, we will entreat all participants because you are going to facilitate to be part of this training. So if you know of a colleague who could not join, please let him or her be aware that Thursday we will be meeting this at the same time, and we expect to have a full house. That is, the 50 participants or the facilitators should be available to go through the training. The recordings will be sent to your mails so that when you have time, you can go over all that were presented. So that when you go to the district, you'll be better equipped to execute the work that has been assigned to you as a facilitator. Like Mr. Yeboah said, you'll be going to meet CISOs, and you know there will be a lot of questions for you. They are going to spend a lot of time asking questions in areas that they don't understand. So please, it will be better when the recordings are sent, you take time to go over them, especially the new additions that have come on board, like this monitoring and evaluation framework, the NASIA monitoring tool, and the rest. Just go through them and be conversant with the concept and the content so that at the end, when you go, you will not find yourself wanting. If there are no questions, oh, there is one, please, have you already distributed supplementary readers? Not yet. We are yet to do that. We are yet to distribute supplementary readers. Like Ima mentioned, they will come very soon. So don't worry about that. So if you don't have more, can you share the contacts of the participants? Which of the participants? I think the participants, all contacts can be found on the WhatsApp platform that has been created. So please, if you need the contact of the participants, that's the facilitators, you can go to the platform that has been created and you see them there. All right. Maybe I will take 2 more questions, then we will end today's presentation. Yes, the training will take 2 days. So Monday and Tuesday. That's why we expect all facilitators to be at their district by Sunday so that there will be no excuses as to we couldn't arrive there on time. No, we want to avoid all that. So if you think where you will be facilitating, the district is far from where you stay, please go on Sunday. Yes, we know we've done our best to bring you closer to the district where you will be facilitating, but we don't want a situation whereby you decide to set off on Monday and you wouldn't be able to arrive on time. Okay, so please, let's do well to ensure that we go there and arrive on time so that we don't keep them waiting. It's only 2 days, but we expect to make judicious use of the time that has been allocated for the training. We are saying that the supplementary readers are yet to be distributed. Okay, so when they are ready, you get them. Ima, there is a question for you, so please. Is Ima there? Okay, so when we get an answer for this question, it will be shared on the platform so that we all benefit. So we'll note it. Yes, Abu Kasim, letters will be sent to your directors asking permission to enable you go and facilitate. I think, Michael, that also answers your question. So permission letters will be sent, so don't worry about that. Okay, so I think I've gotten the 2 questions, so we can end today's session. On behalf of management, once again, and on behalf of our immediate Director for Partnerships and Affiliation, Director Frederick Breakwine, on behalf of the Technical Working Group for DL Plus, and on behalf of the DL team, GS headquarters, we thank you so much for availing yourselves to go through this training successfully. We know you are better equipped than you came. So we expect that after this, you go back to the recordings that will be sent to you. Read more, listen, and equip yourself better so that when you go, you will be in a better position to deliver as expected of you. We thank you and we hope to see you again on Thursday. So we expect to see all of you on Thursday, where we will be doing the DL class itself, the DL content. So please, Thursday, like Mr. Eboa said, don't assume you know. No one is a repository of knowledge. And we expect all facilitators to be available on Thursday and go through the training from start to end. Thank you very much once again, and hoping to see you on Thursday. May God bless us all. Amen.